Okay, another installment of Project Road Glide, and this one should pretty much be it in terms of what I'm doing. Quite literally, off of a slow boat from China, my Tour Pak is here. So, I mentioned in the other video, I couldn't wait to see what the postage was going to look like. And there it is. Lord. Okay, so it came in two separate packages. My one package came the other day. That was the Backrest pad. And then here it is 2 days later that this one just arrived. So let's get it open. Let's make sure it is everything that I want, that it's not damaged, and that I got everything I ordered. And let's get it on the bike. All right, so let's get into this thing and see if I got everything that I ordered. That's your biggest concern. You're ordering this stuff from overseas, and you want to make sure that your order is right. And as far as the quality is concerned, just looking over it here briefly, it looks good. I see a slight run in the paint right there. It's very small, and it's right here in the this recess area on the top. But I mean, that's certainly not a deal breaker for me. All right, should have all of my other stuff with it. Okay, so this is cool. I wasn't expecting this, and that is that I ordered this liner to go with it, and they've already installed it. I didn't think they were going to do that. I thought it was just going to be in here, and then I was going to end up having to install it. So that's cool that is already in there. Yeah, it's already Velcroed in and everything. So, man, okay. I wasn't expecting that. Very cool. All right, great. Let's put this thing together and let's get it put on the bike. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, I just went ahead and I put the rack on the bike. So instead of trying to flip the Tour Pak over and get bolts through it and all that kind of stuff, I'm just going to put the rack on there, and then I'll set the Tour Pak on it. That way I can kind of hold it in place and I can fish in the hardware. So let's try it like that instead of trying to flip it around on a table and see how this works. All right, I think that's going to be okay because I can kind of hold it on here a little bit. Okay, and then being that they put the liner in already, I'm just going to move it out of the way. I think I should have enough room in there to do this. So let me locate my holes here real quick. Right, there they are. All right, so they're lining up fine. Take my steel plate, stick it in there. And then let's just fish in a couple of these bolts in the back here first to hold it in place. The hardware came in that small box. So hardware with a washer goes down through. And then just like I did on the lowers, even though that this is a lock bolt, I never really trust these kind of lock bolts with these little serrations on there. I don't really trust those. So what I'm going to do is add a lock washer to it. All right, let's get these other two bolts in. Make sure I can move that. Yeah, okay, good. So that's what I want to do, is be able to move it. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this seat back on, and then I'll get the boss in here to sit on it, and then we'll make our final decision. So let me go ahead and get that seat back on. Okay, so I got the seat back out here, and then it's going to have 3 mounting locations. You got one there, you got one here in the middle, and then you have one over here. These are 14mm nuts. I'll take those off, and then it has 3 holes that are already pre-drilled into the upper lid of the Tour Pak. You can see one here. Oops, kicking the camera, sorry. You have another one here, and then we have one down there on the bottom. So we'll just put it into place and get it secured on there, and then we'll make sure that I have this thing set where I need it to be set, and then I'll start locking everything down. Okay, so I got those. This is the back side of the seat right in here, and you can see you just get that bolt through the pre-drilled hole. There's the middle one right there, and then here's the one on the other side. Just put them in, thread the nut on there, tighten it down, and the backrest is done. All right, there it is. I got it on. And so this is pretty much the way that I wanted it. I knew that I ordered the black latches. That's why I changed out the latch covers on the saddlebags in one of my other videos. And so that ties it all in nicely, I think. Okay, so you may think that this is the end of Project Road Glide, but staying true to my nature, now I need to modify that saddlebag, or not the saddlebag, but the Tour Pak. I know. But here's what I want to do. The thing is that those Tour Paks don't come with any kind of lights on them. And so now what you've done is, with that Tour Pak on there, you've got the lights that are sitting down there on the fender, which is fine, and they're bright. But sometimes if you have some larger vehicles that are coming up on a bike, especially with Tour Paks, and you don't have any lights on the Tour Pak, then sometimes it's very hard to see those lights. So I'm going to put lights on that Tour Pak. And I'm pretty fortunate because Kuryakyn, who is got to be the #1 motorcycle manufacturer of everything lights that has to do with motorcycles, they make a kit just for that. And this is a kit that mounts right to the top of that Tour Pak, and it goes right into the existing lighting system. It ties right into your existing system. So this light right here is going to operate as a running light, a brake light, and turn signals, and it'll be sitting right on top of that Tour Pak. So just to give you a quick view here, of exactly how this is going to work. Just kind of a rude way of showing it, but it's going to sit right in there like that. So even though this is an aftermarket Tour Pak, this thing does fit in there. I researched that. It's made for Harley Tour Paks, but even though this is an aftermarket one, it emulates the approximate size and this cutout right here where you can use it on this particular Tour Pak. So it's going to sit up there like that, and it's going to run exactly the same way as those lights down there on the fender do. So that's going to add some visibility when you're running a Tour Pak on a touring bike like this. So the one thing that I don't like about the design of this is it's designed to, this wire right here is all designed to run exterior. So I would run it behind this seat. I would run it down in front of the Tour Pak down underneath here. I would have a wire that would be coming underneath here, and then you bring it up underneath the seat and you tie it in. I don't want to do that. I want to hide that cable a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I am going to kind of look at this thing. I'm probably going to end up drilling a hole right there. I'm going to fish this wire down through there, and then I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom of the Tour Pak and bring it down from the bottom, and then I'll only have just a small area of exposed wire before it goes up underneath the seat. And so what I'm going to have to do that, not only am I going to be drilling holes in my Tour Pak, but I also need to cut that cable right there. And then inside of this conduit, it actually has 5 small electrical cables in there. So I'll have to cut each one of those, run the wire, splice it when I'm done, and then hook it all up. So I'm going to be destroying my new light, and I'm going to be cutting holes in my new Tour Pak. Okay, so first things first, what we want to do is make sure that the Kuryakyn light that I'm going to be mounting, before I destroy it and start cutting all the wires, let's make sure that it works out of the box so that I won't have a question as to why it's not working unless I tested it first. So the Y adapter that they give you goes in this location right here. So the original wiring, this was mounted down in there. Kuryakyn gives you this Y adapter, which plugs into your original wire harness right here, and then it Ys off. One of the Ys goes back into your original wiring, and then you plug in the Kuryakyn light, and you can see that immediately after I turn the bike on that I have lighting, I have turn signal on each side, and I've got brake. All right, so awesome. We know everything works. So after I take this apart and splice it all back together, if it doesn't work, then it was all on me. So starting off, we know that it works. Okay, so what I want to do is I need to get this connector cut off of here so that I can fish this wire down through the top of the saddlebag and then down through the bottom of the saddlebag. Give myself enough room where we're going to be opening and closing the lid, of course, of the saddlebag. So I'm going to have to give myself enough room for all of that, and then route it underneath the seat. Connect all of this back together again, and then put it on the Y connector so that all this works. See what happens. So let's cut them. All right, done deal. All right, so I paid $90 for this kit. I may have just blown $90, but we'll find out what happens. This shouldn't be too bad of a deal. All right, now let's start to route it down through the saddlebag, or the Tour Pak rather. Okay, so if I just do a test fit on this light, the way that it's going to work, based on this shape right here. So we got a little bit of a curve right here. So it's intended to hit a portion of this flat surface and this raised surface. That's where it's going to mount. And it kind of fits itself in terms of side to side. And then you're going to kind of push it all the way up against that raised surface right here. And then you can see that I have some room in here where this cable is, where this wire is. And it's approximately halfway from the top of this to the bottom of this. So I think that if I were to make my hole in the saddlebag, it is going to be about halfway up that rise. So I'm going to take my little scribe and I'm just going to sit it right here. Here's my wire right here. So I'm just going to take my scribe. I can get out a ruler and do all that kind of stuff. I just don't think that we need to do it. So approximately right here. So if I just come up right there, about halfway up on that rise, and I just make a scribe mark right there, and that's very easy to see, then that's where my hole is going to go. All right, so I think that'll be fine. I can make it right there. I got a little bit of room in here. I mean, I've got enough flexibility on that wire right there where I can fish it down through there, and I think that'll be fine. I'm trying to eliminate any exposed wire up here on the Tour Pak itself. So, okay, so that's how I'm going to go ahead and create the location of where I want the hole. So let's go ahead and drill a hole in my new Tour Pak. Okay, moment of truth. So I'm going to go back to, probably not going to be able to see that on the camera, but I can see it very clearly right there. There is my mark, and I'm going to do a pilot hole first. So I'm using a very small drill. All right, sweet. Got that in there. What I was most concerned about there was the paint. I didn't want the paint to start unraveling right there in that area. So pilot hole first. That is not my final hole. I have to go to a larger hole so that I can get the cable through there. So let's step it up and start running the cable. Okay, so now let's talk about where I want to come out of the bottom of this Tour Pak. So here is my mounting rack right here. And so what I want to do is, you can see, I hope you can see, right there, that little cutout right there, I want to go down between this cutout and my mounting rack. And I want it to be back about an inch or so that I can run the wires down right next to this along my side rail right here and then up underneath my seat. I want this thing to be as concealed as possible. So from the inside, what I've determined right there You can see I've put a little scribe mark on there. That is exactly where I want to drill this hole. So I have to go down through this plate, which is no big deal. But that's where I want that hole to go, and that's where I'm going to run that wire. So let's give that a shot, and let's get this thing run. All right, once again, I am going to put a pilot hole in here. Okay, and then the other thing that I want to do, being that we just went through this steel plate right here, is that I am going to use this countersink. Okay, so what this is right here is a countersink. So if I had a flush mount fastener that I was going to put in here, a flush mount screw, then you would countersink this and you could put it in there where everything was flush. I'm not putting a fastener through there, of course. I'm running an electrical wire through there. But I don't want that electrical wire to chafe and break over a period of time because it's rubbing on that piece of steel. So what I want to do is basically I'm deburring it. I'm getting any sharp edges away from this thing. And the best way to do this is just hit it with a drill real quick. So let me get the drill. Good. Let's do it one more time. All right. Sheet metal 101. Just deburr that hole real well. So now it's nice and smooth here on the top. So as that electrical cable goes down through there, it's not going to be sitting here and chafing on a lot of that little debris that was hanging around that hole. I'll do the same thing from the bottom, and that should keep it from having any problems with that wire in the future. Okay, so I have the initial wiring done on this. I basically have it kind of where I wanted to go. I have it reconnected and I have plugged it into the system. Does it work? Let's find out. Power on. Moment of truth. Oh, hell yeah, it works. Of course it does. Turn signal. Oh, yeah. other turn signal. Oh yeah. And I'll prop the camera up here real quick to make sure that the brake light works. Okay, so I have all the wires spliced again, and I have them all wrapped in electrical tape and secured, and I used a little shrink wrap in there as well, heat shrink, and I pretty much have this thing tentatively where I want it run. It's coming out of the bottom of the saddlebag here. It's going to run along the Tour Pak rack right here, and it's going to come right along through here. I'll get it down inside of this rail as much as I can, and it's pretty much going to run in here with the other wires. And then I'll clean all this up once I get my exact fit on here. So I think what I need to do now, just to make sure that I know what I'm going to be dealing with in terms of my exact length, I think the best thing to do now is go ahead and mount this light. That way it's fixed on this end, it's fixed down there on that end, and then everything in between, I'll know what it is that I'm having to deal with. And then also, this is some of the 3M, some of this 3M sticky back material. You don't have to do this, but this one does call for it. And that is, you're going to get in here and you're going to scratch this real good with either your fingernail or something else, whatever, not to tear it up, but just to scratch it real good. And what that does is it activates this backing or the adhesive that's underneath this. So I have to do that too for this particular one. All right, we got that off of there. Let's fish that wire back down through, and then the moment of truth. Okay, I've got that cable run now, so let me just show you what I did. Peel this liner back. So from the location of the light, which is mounted on the outside back here, I got the wire coming in. I have a standoff right here. I ran it down here along the top of the lid. I have another standoff right here. I chose to just kind of leave a little bit of room right here at the hinge point, so as the lid's opening and closing, it has room to flex in here. I went ahead and ran it down the sidewall of the Tour Pak, along the front side of it, and then down through the hole that I drilled. Alright, so that takes care of how we did it on the inside. And you can see as we're opening and closing the lid that it's obviously got some room to work in there, and these aren't on here tight, so I mean this can move, so as this lid opens and closes it has room to move around a little bit and it won't pinch. And then of course, not to mention the fact that you have your liner that's in there protecting it from things that are going to be going in and out of the Tour Pak. Alright, so that's how we did the inside of it. I'll fix all that in just a minute. So you can see it's going to be nice and concealed underneath there, and it won't be subject to stuff that's being thrown in there. And then out here, I came out of the hole on the bottom. I have a tie wrap that's just holding it loosely against the Tour Pak mount, and then I'm just running it along the side rail right here. It was a little tight up in there. I couldn't really get it tucked down in there, but I was able to get it tucked in right here, and then just bring it up underneath the seat with the rest of the wiring. And so, you know, I just took the Y adapter, and you can see I've got it all tucked down in here. And so worst case scenario, if I want to take this off, then I'm going to have to take the seat off. I mean, it's just going to be the deal. So I'll just disconnect it at the Y connector. I can pull the cable out. I can probably even leave this tie wrap connected to it, and it's just going to come out with a cable attached to it. Okay, that's it. Project Road Glide is complete. Well, kind of. There will be some other things that I'm going to do, but for the most part, this is what I was going for. So that Tour Pak looks great. That's the look that I wanted, and then decided to do the light, of course. And I'll be honest with you, that a lot of that really is for safety reasons. I mean, people are distracted enough out there driving these days, and to be on a bike is really concerning. So you just have to make sure that you have a lot of visibility out there. And when you put a trunk on a bike like this, on a bagger, a lot of times just those two lights down there at the bottom aren't enough. There's a lot of lighting out there these days that you can really put on these bikes, but I don't want to go crazy on that part of it. I just wanted to add the visibility, and I think that's going to be a great asset to it right there. But I'm happy with the Tour Pak. So I'm happy with the decision that I made about changing out the latch covers to black. That goes great with the black latches or hinges that are on the Tour Pak. The wraparound seat, you know, I mean, on a bike like this, a lot of times, especially with a chopped Tour Pak, which is a little bit shorter than the real big one, a lot of people just go with a pad on there. But you know, the wife is more comfortable with that, and so I think it looks fine. But all right, and I'm happy. I'm happy with what we went with there. And there'll be some little things here and there. I may or may not make videos about them. Will just depend on what it is. But I am happy with the way that it came out. So I'm going to go ahead and call Project Road Glide finished at this point. On to the next job.